The Boston Red Sox just finished another season middling in the American League East, and with perennial contenders in the Yankees and Orioles being forces in the division, it'll require a precise rebuild for the Red Sox to make their way to the top of the division ladder. The team is equipped with stars and a good pitching staff, but just needs a few pieces to unlock that next level. And that's where I come in. This marks the 18th team I have rebuilt over the course of my Rebuilding October series, which is where I rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So if you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious as to how every team should approach the offseason, this is the series for you. And let's get the Sox back in playoff contention. As with every good rebuild, you have to understand what players will be walking out the door before you can bring players in. And in this case, Lucas Giolito will be the first player who has the potential to hit the free agent market. Much to the dismay of Sox fans, Giolito would probably choose to opt into his $19 million option after missing all of 2024 with an injury. Combine that with a few seasons of struggles beforehand, and Giolito might not be able to get a better payday elsewhere, so for him, it makes sense to stay in Boston. The next big name guy to stay in Boston, despite being an unrestricted free agent, is Kenley Jansen. Jansen just continues to be an underrated reliever who puts up good numbers late into his career. He might not be that elite closer that we once knew, but to say he wouldn't be worth another trial would be foolish for the Red Sox not to consider. Over the course of 54 games in 2024, Jansen posted a 3.29 ERA with 27 saves mixed in there. Not dominant stuff, but still above average for certain, and in this rebuild, he's staying in Boston for a Jays 37th season. A player who will not be retained heading into free agency is Nick Pivetta. Pivetta does this thing where he can look unhittable for a stretch of starts and then follow that up by stringing multiple starts together of really bad performances. That equated out to a 4.14 ERA over the course of 26 starts while having the best strikeout to walk rate of his career. While there are aspects to like about Pivetta, the Red Sox will look to add more consistency from the free agent class this offseason. The next player who will technically hit the free agent market is Big Maple himself, James Paxton, who already stated that his intent is to retire after the 2024 season. Paxton posted a 4.4 ERA across the 2024 campaign split between the Dodgers and Sox. On the production side, Paxton is definitely replaceable, but in the game of catching bald eagles, he is unmatched. As for Chris Martin from the bullpen, he will pitch again in 2025, just for another team. If you've been keeping up with the series, you know that ultimate destination is in Washington, D.C. For the Red Sox, they are losing out on a very solid reliever who has casually posted a 3.05 ERA since his return from pitching overseas in 2018. It will be a tough pill to swallow, but not impossible to get down. For the next loss, it's going to be hard to get over if Tyler O'Neill continues to go on and be this great player. However, his game is very hit or miss, and with a history of injury, this could turn into a really dangerous signing for the Sox if they are after prolonged success. O'Neill did put up great numbers in 2024. An 847 OPS with 31 bombs in just 113 games is nothing to scoff at, but his strikeout rate is incredibly concerning, and his squared up rate is toward the bottom of the league. There's just a lot to like and a lot to dislike there with O'Neill, and there is players with similar upside with more consistency to their game, even within their own prospect system, that could continue to flow the young, extremely good outfielders to this team that the team has coming up. Another player that is set to hit free agency is Danny Jansen, who the Red Sox acquired mid-season, and aside from that weird playing for both teams in the same game thing, he really didn't do much in that stint in Boston. If Jansen isn't hitting, his defense isn't enough for him to carry him over as a catcher, and he'll have to find another place to bring his services, with Connor Wong already serving as a decent backup catcher. Another name the Red Sox will be okay letting hit the market is Luis Garcia, who also made his way over to Boston mid-season after starting the year fine with the Los Angeles Angels. However, his 15 games in Boston couldn't have gone much worse, and Garcia will be better suited elsewhere. And another name the Red Sox got the short end of the stick for was Lucas Sims, who again made his way over mid-season, this time from the Reds, where he was posting a 3.57 ERA across 43 games there. However, in Boston, again, 15 games of terrible production with his final sentencing in Beantown. And the final option the Sox are faced with is for Rob Refsnyder, who has very quietly posted a great 3 seasons with the Red Sox, posting a 795 OPS while hitting 12 homers over a 162 game period. For the Red Sox, that is excellent depth pieces, and they would be silly not to retain him for the $2.1 million on his club option. For the price, that is an excellent bat to have around the organization, even if he has been limited by injury. Staying on the internal decision path, the team has a trio of prospects who could make their impact on the Major League roster in 2025, with the first and highest rated of the bunch being Roman Anthony, an outfield prospect that finished the year in AAA. Anthony checks in as the third highest rated prospect in all of baseball, and it's easy to see why. Anthony is so well regarded for his swings decisions, combined with his constant hard contact that has been found throughout his entire career. Combine that with being a solid fielder that could stick in center if need be for the early portion of his career, it makes him a really exciting prospect for the Red Sox, who will make the roster really quickly in 2025. Joining Anthony not only at the top of the Sox system, but also at the top of all the prospects in the minor leagues, we have Marcelo Mayer, who is a prospect we've been hearing about for a long time since he was drafted in 2021 as the highest rated prospect in that draft, but slipped to the Red Sox at fourth. Mayer has done nothing but rake in his time in the minor leagues and has shown the ability to remain at short for the time being, but there is questions about his long-term projectability at the position. Either way, this guy is an extremely plus bat with the potential to be a really good defender at either short or the hot corner, and a prospect Red Sox fans will get to know really soon. Another name that'll make the major league roster sooner rather than later is Kyle Teal, who's absolutely rakes for a catching prospect, making it to AAA last season and earning the right to be the 25th best prospect in baseball. Teal is no slouch behind the plate either, with a really good arm and is quicker and more athletic than most other catchers. If not for the struggles he had offensively at AAA last year, I would be hard to argue against Teal being the opening day catcher for this Red Sox squad. For free agents starting on the offensive side, the team will grab a catcher in the form of Elias Diaz to handle that starting catching duties until Teal can take over. Diaz has done well to improve his defense over the course of his career, and while Sox fans might not expect him to be that all-star that he earned by default with the Rockies, he is serviceable and will be easy to replace with Teal when the moment comes. For the pitching side, the Red Sox will make a bigger splash grabbing division rival Corbin Burnes. While the team's pitching was incredible in 2024, with the absence of Pivetta and missing a true five-starter, the team should use this deep class of starters to lock up their guy for the foreseeable future and get this rebuild off and running. Burnes maintains his top form in the move to Baltimore, posting a 2.92 ERA across 32 starts while maintaining a 3.77 strikeout to walk rate. This would ensure the Sox have a top of the line rotation when it comes to the postseason either this year or multiple years down the line when the prospects have grown into their role. For the bullpen, they could easily add a guy like Ryan Stanek, who has had a couple seasons of poor play. However, if you look at Stanek, you are in search of that peak performance that we saw in 2022, where he pitched in 54 innings, posting a 1.15 ERA in that span, while striking out over 10 batters per 9 innings. Even last year's with the numbers down, there's still hope because he was striking out 12.7 batters per 9 innings with the Mets in that short span at the end of the year. If the Red Sox can continue to fix pitching like they have in years prior, Stanek could be a steal. And then for a safeguard, the team can grab Tommy Kahnle from the division rival New York Yankees. Kahnle continues to post ludicrous numbers into his mid-30s, posting a 2.11 ERA last season in 50 innings. Kahnle would help the team get to Jansen unscathed, and with this rotation, it can really shorten the game for opposing teams. That leaves the final roster as Elias Diaz behind the dish, with Tristan Casas at first, Trevor Story at second, who we all pray we get to see at the peak of his powers once again for a full year. Marcelo Mayer jumping AAA to make the opening day start at short. Rafael Devers will man third, with top prospect Roman Anthony opening the season in left, with Jaron Duran in center and Wilyer Abreu in right, with Masataka Yoshida at DH. The bench would consist of Connor Wong as a backup catcher, Sadane Rafaela as a utility guy, David Hamilton as a backup infielder, and Rob Refsnyder as a fourth outfielder. The rotation would be headlined by Burns and Houck, with Crawford, Bayo, and Giolito to bring up the back half. Would this team be able to compete with the rest of the division? There is definitely a world. With a good chance for the Yankees and Orioles to get weaker through the free agent period, the Red Sox would take the opportunity to swoop players at positions of need, and with hot starts from their top prospects and Trevor Story being the healthy version of himself in 2025, this team can make a strong push for not only the postseason, but for that division crown.